Hey everyone, Kirsten here with Six Figure Business Coaching, and we are absolutely thrilled to have you joining us today on our Talk Tuesday Live, where we're always interviewing interesting guests who can help you grow your businesses.
We are so excited to have Emily back. I was able to be with Emily the last time she was on the show, and I'm really excited to hear what you had to say. Last time she talked about webinars, but Emily helps online coaches and entrepreneurs to produce their video podcast channel with content that attracts new clients, which is the goal, right? And then her goal is to do this without stressing about production and publishing and the technology, and really creating an impactful video marketing presence. And so I'm excited to talk to you today, Emily.
I'm glad to be here. Yes.
Can you tell us about different formats that people could use to create a video podcast? And then my next question would be about then taking that audio and then producing a podcast where people can listen to it while they're driving. So I guess those are the two things. Marla, did you have any other questions about it that were top of mind for you?
I would love to just hear more about your suggestions on working within a framework.
Well, that's really good. I think what I'll do is start this way. If you have an idea of a podcast, these days, if you want to start a podcast, it's really harder to just get on and be a talking head. It's harder because it's all you. Everything has to come from you, meaning you have to fill the airtime, so to speak. And if you have, in your case, a demonstration that you do regularly, like every Tuesdays or third Wednesday of every month, or is the frequency of your podcast, if you have someone else on, you can play off of them. It's true that if you have a guest, you need to be showing their genius as well, but you can very, very, very easily bring your guest in to the content that you want your market to hear. I can talk more about that. But if I were to say nothing else about framework, I would say this. We all know our target market. If we don't, we need to. We need to know our target market so that as we craft the questions for our guest, we are going to say, tell us about your book. How did you, whatever it is. But some of the questions, the way that you're going to ask them will be actually laid out specifically for your market. And so your market is going to continue to be piqued to listen to the entire podcast. Now that's probably a question that you're coming up with, Marla, as far as framework. How long should your podcasts be? I have to tell you that this sweet spot of 45 minutes right here is a good one. 30 is good. There are some people who have very successful podcasts and they keep them at 55 to 60 minutes. They just plan it that way. So if you have already been doing a podcast like Marla has, it's okay if you pivot and now you realize that, hey, we're making our guests happy and we're getting subscribes and likes. But really, the place that I come from when I'm working with clients, it's not necessarily about the subscribes and the likes. It's how many people say, can I call you? Can I work with you? A podcast really should be an unbelievable addition to your marketing plan.
Absolutely. I love that.
One of the things, I can't remember whether it was Kirsten or Marla said, we talked about stripping the audio away to make the podcast. Let me just tell you again, this is me talking to the people that I talk to and my clients. I absolutely don't think that people should make a podcast without the video. In other words, the video should be the all-inclusive episode. And then from that, you can strip the audio. You can go use Buzzsprout, Riverside, all these different places. Some of them actually let you include your video as part of it. But there's so much content, again, how you craft your interview. There's content in there to make those stories if you want to do that, or to make posts. LinkedIn or Facebook. I mean, whether it's business or not. Let's take Kirsten and Jeannie, online coaches, entrepreneurs, and the amazing contribution that they make Oh my gosh, they just make, they stop the world spinning for their clients.
Thank you.
I mean, just things like that. So not all of their clients are in the same business, right? So that doesn't mean that there won't be other people that really find value in their videos, in the case of their YouTube channels. But when you weave in the questions or the information that specifically draws the people that you want, it actually makes it easier for you. The other thing that it makes it easier to do is to plan your recording sessions. You said that you do yours every Friday. At some point, I don't know what that's like. Huh? Live. Right. And I don't know what that's like, in your space. I know that all of the clients, except for one, we record their whole presentation, their whole podcast, let's call it that. And then they put it in their publishing schedule.
For a lot of our clients, we ask people like, how big is your email list? And they might say, oh, I've got less than 100, or it could be, I've got 5,000. And then the next question we always ask, is, how often are you emailing them? And they'll often say, oh, I don't know. Well, when's the last time you emailed them? 9 months ago, right?
Yeah.
So what we find is for our clients, by creating that one weekly video, it gives them something to send to everyone on their email list on a regular basis. And so you can also take these types of calls like you're talking about, like what we do, and convert them in blog posts. You can take the transcript, rework it a little bit, which is a lot easier now that you have AI that can help you do that. And so then you actually have great content for your website, right, which Google wants. Google wants new content consistently being put on your website. So I love, like, you're thinking just like we think, do one thing and then use it in a million different places. And I know we shared this with you earlier, but when Jeannie and I started doing these Talk Tuesday lives, the intention was really just to get people in our group introduced to people that could help them. Like, there's probably a lot of people watching or who will watch on the replay who've been thinking about doing a podcast. Now they're opening their eyes to possibly a video podcast, because of what you're talking about. And so it was just to bring added value and to build relationships. But we have been talking about, as we get more structure with this and are getting better at doing these interviews and things like that, is we will probably eventually put these onto our YouTube channel. So we've got to sort out the tech things, like you said, the microphone things to make the quality a little bit better. But yeah, you just take it one step at a time, right? Like, you don't have to create your video webinar or your video podcast and on day one, repurpose it everywhere. On day one, actually have it go to 10 different podcasting platforms. Just get your first episode up on YouTube, right?
Exactly.
And then maybe in a month or two, you start getting them repurposed into social media. And then maybe a couple of months later, you start getting those emails out, right? You just take it one step at a time. And it makes life a lot easier when you don't put all of that pressure on yourself to do it all at one time.
I couldn't have said that better myself. I did want to say this to Marla. And again, Marla does hers live. Her SOP is to do that. Some people are going, you do that once a week? That's a big ask that Marla's probably asking herself and her schedule to handle. Do you have to do a podcast every week, whether it's recorded or not? No, you just have to be consistent. I recommend more than once a month, but the more you do it, sort of stacking, maybe do 2 at one time if you're going to do the pre-recorded and not live.
Also repurpose it later. So let's say you're taking 2 weeks for the holidays off. Let's decide you don't want to produce anything the last 2 weeks of December. You can very easily go back. You wouldn't want to republish it on YouTube, obviously, but you can go back to some of your more popular videos and repurpose that content again. You can pull what you had already used, the exact same things you had already used, and reuse those again. Or like you said, you might want to look it over and say, hey, let's add more to this, or let's pull a few more clips out and let's even tighten it up so we're still posting great content moving into the end of the year. So yeah, it is pretty amazing when you just realize that it's all recyclable. You can repurpose it. It's all
recyclable. And the other thing, just like this, before we started this, we talked about, you said, okay, let's book another for next quarter. And what we'll probably do is we might dive into a little bit more of the tech, right, and show that you can have really good quality looking stuff and you don't have to spend, an arm and a leg to do it.
Yeah, I would love, like, for our next conversation, that would be fantastic, because I would love to know what platforms, obviously YouTube is where they're going to start, but what podcasting platforms are the best places to start for people who are brand new?
Starting on YouTube, I highly recommend that that's where you start, because even if you don't open your channel, it gives you the chance it gives you the private theater, if you will, for you to do what you need to do. The cool thing is that some of the platforms, they don't care if you're brand new.
Right.
They don't care. Buzzsprout, there's one that doesn't care if you're brand new. And as you begin to look at this, doing it, you have to ask yourself, am I doing everything myself?
Right. And the answer is no. We're going to help you hire a marketing virtual assistant who is going to do all of that for you.
Right.
Judy and I actually have a program called the Marketing VA Advantage, and your marketing virtual assistant can do everything from setting up your YouTube channel, laying out your art for it, helping you put your keywords in and just your description for your channel, as well as editing all of your podcasts that you're doing and then repurposing your content. So yeah, if you're thinking about doing this and you're wondering like, well, I don't want to learn all that tech, or I don't have the time for it, or this sounds great, but I'm already busy as all get out, you can hire an amazing marketing virtual assistant that we have vetted and we have trained for about $200 a month. And that can actually help you get an incredible podcast or talking head video or whatever type of video you want on YouTube produced every week, as well as repurposed on all of your platforms. So it can be really, really affordable to get the help.
We record locally, we let Zoom do the recording, and we end up sometimes having to piecemeal, because the recording on one computer, I've even had a recording that the Zoom recording was not great, but the signal came this way totally fine. So sometimes you do that. And when we turn over the deliverable, it's not just the Zoom windows. Right. It's all been changed, lower thirds and stuff like that. So, but it's not, I shouldn't say it's not that hard. It's different for each client. There's branding considered, right, the way they like things, and the VA can probably, all you have to do is work that out and you have an SOP.
I love that. Yeah, actually we've actually worked all of that out. So we actually have a way that you communicate all of your branding and your colors and your fonts with your virtual assistant. It's all very organized and very easy to have your virtual assistant help you set it all up for you. So you really you'll be more organized than you've ever been in your whole life. Would you agree, Marla?
Yes, absolutely. And it will help you be more productive and help you be more accountable, and just relieve so much of the, pressure of, I have multiple businesses and I don't know how I did it all before. I'd probably just badly. And so now that I have people to help kind of follow the SOPs that we have in place. And that was a lot of things. So much of it was in my head.
Right.
So I think a lot of business owners, we don't take the time to create those SOPs. We just do because we do it ourselves. So when you have them actually in place, I know I can relate too. When you have them in place, it does help your business run more efficiently.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that like what you're teaching with video podcasting and the way you're going to get into helping them understand how to have great audio and understand how to strip things away and produce podcasts, having just someone to support them is amazing. And it can take you where you want to go faster, right? Can you do it on your own? Absolutely. It just made it a little bit slower going, but that's okay too. So there's nothing wrong with that.
And I like how you talk about the purpose of what you do, Emily, is to help them produce these podcasts, but more with the intention of attracting new clients. I mean, that's what we all want, right? I mean,
right.
I can do this live show every Friday, but unless I'm being really intentional about my call to actions in that, that could maybe not be as effective as it could be if I paid attention to it.
Yeah.
You know what? It's not always the call to action. I myself will forget the call to action.
Right.
I'd like, bye, see you next time. Boom. And I didn't do that. So what I have decided to start to employ in mine is start to ask the question up front. some of these questions early on, and it begins to set the stage for the interview in this particular case. I would recommend that you do that. I'm not talking about a CTA. I'm talking about if you have someone from the community, it's the way you ask the question. And
Right.
I'm making all this up right now. You're going to ask them a question that's in the inner parts of your market, and they're going to be moved to answer it there. And it comes off. For the people who are not your market, but they enjoy your podcast, they're going to love this.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to go, oh, we ought to do this.
I want to do that. Oh, I should call them when we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this. I'm going to try to ask a question that might help us with your audience, Emily. So you're really looking to talk to people who've been thinking about a podcast. They know it would benefit their business, but they just don't know what to ask or how to do it. Maybe they're just a little bit intimidated by it. Are those people that you'd like to have a conversation with so that you could answer their questions and maybe see if they want to be a part of your challenge? That's who you really want to help, is people who have had that little seed in their mind about a podcast, but just haven't pulled the trigger, and you just want to help them kind of test the water and see if podcasting is right for them.
Absolutely. You must be reading my mind.
I have an
Yes,
idea.
in fact, probably the best way to do it would be just have people DM me, Emily Bekaye, and we can set up a call, and I can tell you when the challenge is and how. And you know, it is a challenge, but it's actually quite easy to do. And when you get to the other side of the challenge, you're going to just be amazed that you actually produced something. And then we can talk about working together if that's something you'd like to do.
I love that. Yeah, it gives everyone an opportunity to get to know you and just, like I said, put their kind of toe in the water and see if they like it. And, you know, for those of you guys who are really fearful of doing this, no one's going to see that video podcast except for Emily, right? She's going to give you feedback and help you out with it. You don't ever have to publish it. Jeannie and I, when Facebook Lives first came out, like we ended up setting up a little Facebook group that just had the two of us, and it was like super secret video content for Jeannie and Kirsten. And we just went in. I mean, this is like, again, when Lives first came out ages ago, and we would just go in and do little lives together, just the two of us, and nobody else could see them. So just to practice. So that's kind of what you're providing. You're providing them an opportunity to have some fun, see what they can do with no pressure, and get your professional opinion and coaching around that. So that's a very generous offer.
You know what? You just gave me an idea. I think I will add that.
That's a great idea.
That they can do that.
Perfect.
Great idea. Well, I love doing this, and I don't know how to express that. One of my favorite things has been for our long-term clients is to not only watch them grow from, hi, you know, the show is all about me, to really finding their place, finding their character or their intuition, and that they do continual work so that they themselves are attracting people that want to be on their podcast. And let's just call it that want to be in their video production, their video marketing, their video podcast channel. We'll call it that because that's where it's going to start.
For those of you that would like to reach out to Emily, like she said, you can DM her. We can also put Emily's email address in the comments. So if you just want to send her an email, I know some people don't like to DM. So we'll add her email address in the comments for you.